Assuming there was anybody actually there. I thought I'd do this whole full screen piece to camera thing because it seems it's what all the cool kids are doing these days, so why not? I'm not going to do this every stream, but I am doing it now because I want to talk a bit about Dominion before we start playing. This is what we're going to be playing today. Dominion. It's a board game, or card game actually, by Donald X Vaccarino. And to give you an idea as to how important a card game it is, I'm just going to read the introduction section by Mike Salinka from an article in the Kobold Guide to Board Game Design about Dominion. It's not actually written by Vaccarino, this article. It's written by Dale Yu, who works at Rio Grande Games. He's one of the people who was a developer on the game rather than the designer. Not many games make every other designer insanely jealous. Rio Grande Games' Dominion is one of those games. It took the gaming world by surprise in 2008, outselling everything and winning every award. Dale Yu was on Dominion's development team, so I've asked him to share with us how it all came together. Mostly because I wanted to know. Fair warning, this essay contains rules specific to Dominion and Dale doesn't waste space explaining them. If you don't know how to play it, take this opportunity to learn, because honestly, if you're a designer, you can't not know how to play Dominion. And I think that pretty much says what you need to know about the importance of Dominion. Mike Salinka is one of the best, most renowned board game designers, and he also has worked for Wizards of the Coast on both Magic and D&D in the world. And he says, if you were to get a game designer, you can't not know Dominion. That's how important Dominion is. So that's the game that we have. This is a first edition copy of Dominion. The second edition came out towards the end of last year and changed some of the cards. The online version is based on that second edition, so there are a few cards that are new to Druttercup and I, and we may have to spend some time getting to know them, shall we say. But now that I've explained that, I'll give you a little basics on what it is. It is a deck building game. It's the first deck building game. By that, I don't mean it's like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, where you construct a deck in advance. Deck building games are games where you build the deck during play. Everybody starts with the same small number of cards, and then you just buy new cards to build up your deck as the game goes on. I'll swap over to looking at Dominion and start explaining how this works. I'll also, at this point, with fair warning to her, unmute Druttercup so that anything she says will come through on the stream. Hopefully now she will be able to talk to anybody who is there.
Well, that's totally convenient because I unmuted you, not me though, so that anyone who happened to be on my stream was able to hear your whifflings, because at the moment I can't co-whiffle particularly well.
Yeah. So
as you may be able to tell from the voice, slightly buggered.
Yeah. I'm assuming then, Drat, that this is going to be a case of me explaining everything about Dominion.
I'm not going to let you have all the fun. But if
because
the
obvious way to do it is that we kind of alternate. Because I've now got the Dominion.games screen up with our table. This is a set thing. This particular layout is one of those given in the rulebook. Normally you will randomize what kingdom cards are on the table. This is the first game layout. It's designed for teaching Dominion. So
make him Fishy design. No. Fish, do you want to take your turn? Because
well, no. This is part of the reason why I have to be doing this with you rather than just with whoever might jump into the table, because I want to explain how to play Dominion on screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
And therefore, there cannot be any of this timeout bollocks.
No.
Now there is no time limit in Dominion Online. Instead, it is assumed that if you are slow playing, your opponent will resign and report you for slow playing, and I know you're not going to do that, so we're safe.
No, I'm not.
So what we have here is we have a number of cards which are standard on every table. First off, we have the curse and victory cards down here on the left-hand side. So I'll explain the victory cards.
Yeah.
Victory cards. Come on, show me a victory card. Okay, it's being mean and not showing me the victory cards. It will show me the kingdom cards, but won't show me the victory cards. That's annoying. Victory cards, fairly obviously, are the cards you need to win. The aim of the game is to earn as many victory points as possible. When the game's end condition comes around, which is either when all of the province cards have been bought, Now, the province cards, unfortunately, are hidden behind the midweek multiplayer logo, where you can't really see them.
Not on
But
mine.
suffice to say that there is a stack of 8 province cards there. They are worth 6 victory points each. If that stack is ever empty, the game ends at the end of that player's turn.
Yeah.
Then we add up our victory points, and whoever has the most wins. The other thing that can end the game is if any 3 card stacks are exhausted. So that's how the game ends.
Yep.
I was going to show how you buy and sell, not how you sell, how you buy cards. Explain how you buy cards, looking at the value and the points on them. Hello, Dark Insanities. But unfortunately, it won't show me the damn victory cards, so I can't really show that at this point. I'll have to explain it when we get as far as the
Unfortunately,
first Kingdom
until you
card.
start doing something, I can't show the victory cards either, because I can get them to pop up, but they're behind the big Make Him Fishy Resign sign.
Oh, there's fun. I can't get them to pop up at all. It won't. It
Yeah.
just simply will not do that for me. Thank you for that host, Dark Insanities. Always appreciated. So, the victory cards are meaningless until the end of the game, essentially. All they do is clog up your hand until you get to the end of the game. The end of the game, though, they're the thing that wins you the game. To get them, you have to use the treasure cards, which is the next line in. We've got coppers, silvers, and golds. The victory cards, by the way, though, are estates, duchies, and provinces. Estates are worth 1 point, duchies worth 3 points, provinces worth 6 points. And the cost on each of them is higher. We'll explain the cost in a moment.
Yep.
That cost is in treasure. It's in coins, which is where the copper, silver, and gold come in. Copper card is worth 1 coin. A silver worth 2 coins, and a gold worth 3 coins. So, on your turn, it has a nice simple ABCD turn order. A, play an action card. Don't have any action cards. Nobody has action cards at the start of the game. That's the way the game works. You start with 7 coins, 7 treasure cards, 7 copper coins, and 3 estates, 3 victory cards, which are just there to clog up your deck.
Yep.
So, first turn, you're never going to do the A part and play an action. So we'll explain that in a moment. Then you get B. B is buy. You buy a card. So what you do is you can play as many treasure cards as you want from your hand. I'm going to hit the autoplay treasures button and play all 4 of the coppers that I have in my hand.
You got 4 coppers.
That gives me 4 coins to play with, and I can buy a card for 4 coins. In addition to the victory cards and the treasure cards that I can buy, and anything I buy is put straight into a discard pile, by the way, so when it reshuffles, I then get access to that, but only when my deck is exhausted and it reshuffles. You can also buy any of the cards here in the centre of the board. These are what are called kingdom cards. There are 10 random kingdom cards, or 10, in this case, fixed kingdom cards, in each game. But even the base set comes with, I think it's 24. Nope, it's either 24 or 25. I think they may have actually upped it to 25 in second edition. Different kingdom cards in just the base set. So it's not the same game each time. Then when you add in the other expansions, both big expansions like this, that's the Dark Ages expansion, that contains 500 cards split between however many kingdom cards that's.
I wish I had your stream up now.
It's not 50 kingdom cards because there are some odd bits and pieces in there as well, but it's a lot of additional kingdom cards. There are also smaller expansions, but I can't show you one of them because the cat's sitting on it. But that one's got about 18, I think, new kingdom cards in it, something like that. So, looking at the militia here for a card layout. Down in the bottom left of the militia is its cost, worth 4 coins. Now, I've got 4 coins. I could buy a militia. There we go. That's there straight away. What it actually does, we can see down the bottom here that it is an action and an attack. So obviously as an action, it gets played at the beginning of your turn in the A for action section. You can normally only play 1 action. And what it does, it will do in order. So where you've got multiple things on a card, you go through them in order, reading from top to bottom. In this case, what it does is it gives me 2 extra coins. So if I'd played a militia and then 4 copper coins, I'd have a total of 6 coins to spend. The other thing it does is the attack part. Each other player discards down to 3 cards in hand. That's very useful, because obviously it scuppers your opponent's options. Particularly useful in a 4-player game. If player 1 plays a militia, player 2, 3 and 4 all discard down. And since they can only redraw at the end of their turn, they're not going to draw up again until after they've acted. It's guaranteed that it will affect them. So that's the Militia card. That's the first of the cards that we have available to buy. Next one along is Remodel. Do you want to explain Remodel? Go through that, what it does?
Okay, trashing a card. The trash mechanism isn't simply discarding a card, it's removing it from the game. So this trashes a card from your hand. It can literally be anything. You gain a card costing up to 2 coins more than the card you've trashed. So if you trashed a copper, that's got a value of 0. Cost of 0, sorry. So you would get a 2-point card. If, however, you went insane, trashed a province, you could get a 10-point card if such a thing were on the table, which it's not.
In this expansion, there aren't any 10-point cards.
No. More likely, you'd be trashing, as I said, probably coppers or possibly estates if you wanted to try and clear your hand out to make room for bigger cards.
They balance this quite nicely in that, for example, it's 3 points of cost difference between copper, silver, and gold. So you can't trash a copper for a silver, you can't trash a silver for a gold using Remodel. They very carefully arranged it so you couldn't do that. Same goes for the province cards. You can't trash a duchy for a province.
You could, for example, however, trash a village and get a mine instead. Because a village is 3 points, a mine costs 5.
Yes, I would expect to see a certain amount of insane play from you, Aurorus.
So yes, that's how Remodel works. And now Fishy needs to do something because, again, I've had to make him resign.
Yeah, right. So, well, you're just going to have to just put up with that, I think, because I want to go through all the cards before we actually play. So the next card is fine. Smithy.
You will have to do Smithy and Market then, because I can't see them.
Fair enough. Smithy is a good standard. It's very simple. Plus 3 cards just means you draw another 3 cards. So if you play Smithy as your action at the beginning of your turn, you get 3 cards. Nice and simple. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buy a Smithy at this point and hand over to Drud's turn, and then we can carry on explaining the remainder of the cards on her turn. So this is my buy. I click on Smithy, I get a Smithy, it goes into my discard, and then C and D, the last 2 phases, are clean up and draw. Clean up sweeps away everything on the table in front of you and also everything in your hand. And then you draw a completely new hand of 5 cards. So at the end of your turn, rather, you will always have a different 5 cards in your hand to the ones you started with. Unless by random coincidence, you reshuffle and draw the same cards again.
Okay, so I'm on explaining the market. So I can, with the market running down in order. It's a 5-point card, which means it's usually pretty good. It's just an action.
Obviously,
so I would draw a card. I have another action to play. And actions do stack. You can end up with 3 or 4 or more actions banked from various cards to all to be used in one turn. Plus 1 buy. So if I happen to have a lot of treasure, more than I would need to spend on 1 card, I can buy a second card. Normally you can only buy 1.
One trick you can use, for example, is that coppers cost 0, which means that in theory, with a market in play, you can buy whatever card you're after, and if you're desperate for treasure cards, could also pick up a free copper with that extra buy, because it isn't going to cost you anything.
Okay, so that's the market. The mine.
The final thing was that it adds 1 coin.
Oh,
as well.
sorry, yeah, my
I
apologies.
interrupted you on buy, so...
Yeah. Mine. You may trash a treasure from your hand, and copper, silver, and gold count as treasures. Gain a treasure to your hand, costing up to 3 coins more than it. So you can trash a copper and get a silver, or trash a silver and get a gold.
It's essentially a specific form of remodel, where remodel won't let you use it on treasure. Mine only uses it on treasure.
Yeah. Then we come on to the ones I can actually afford. Seller. A very useful card. Deceptively so. It gives you an extra action. lets you discard any number of cards and then draw
that extra
that
action
many.
is important.
Yes. Because what this lets you do, if, for example, your hand is locked up with nothing but victory cards, you can discard and clear your hand out of that and redraw in the hope of getting something else and have an action to do anything with.
Depending on what's in your deck,
card.
You can use it for things other than victory cards as well, of course. If you've got all coppers in your hand, but you know you've got plenty of silver and gold in your deck, it might be worth discarding the coppers in the hope of drawing the higher value treasures instead.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have the card, which if somebody buys the militia, I will be buying the moat.
Yeah.
It grants you
Reactions
two
are always
cards.
blue, like this one.
Yeah. It grants you 2 cards. So just as a card in its own right, it's bloody handy. Doesn't grant you any extra action.
Not as good as a smithy, but it doesn't help when the cat is walking on my keyboard. I had the moat up on screen a moment ago and then it went away. That's better.
However, the most useful thing it does is it's a reaction. When another card plays an attack card, such as the militia, you may first reveal this from your hand to be unaffected by it. So if Fishy played a militia on me, I could wave the moat if I had one, and his militia could not do anything to me.
Yeah. That's the way reactions work, is you reveal them rather than play them as a reaction to something, an attack card that an opponent has played. They also are actions as well, so you can play it as an action for the +2 cards or as a reaction to be unaffected by someone's attack.
Okay, let's put that into the pile, which should also extend my turn. Pardon me. So, a 3-point card, Merchant.
Now, Merchant is one of the new cards that Drutt and I don't know, because they came in 2nd edition, and as I said, my copy of the game is 1st edition. This replaced a thing called Woodcutter in this particular set. The Woodcutter had a similar kind of feel to it, but it didn't give you an extra action. It gave you an extra buy, and it gave you +2 coins. But it was what's called a terminal card, because it doesn't give you extra actions. So your action phase ends when you play that. Anything that doesn't give you an extra action. And what they did with 2nd edition is try to cut down on the number of cards that do that. They didn't remove them, but they did cut them down. So instead we now have Merchant. Merchant straight away lets you draw a card. Then it gives you another action, so you can play that card if it is an action card, or another action that you have in your hand. But then also, it's got an interesting little first time mechanic underneath. The first time you play a silver this turn, +1 coin. Now, this does mean that you've got to... Technically, you could play your coins before your actions. They just don't do anything until you actually buy something. So you have to not play anything before, any treasures before the Merchant, because it only works on the first one that you play. But that first silver is effectively going to be worth 3 instead of 2 if it comes after the Merchant. So that's actually quite useful, in that it turns a silver into a gold for that first play per turn, which is a really powerful ability, potentially. But that's the Merchant, a good 3-point card.
It is.
New and rather nice.
I will take the village then.
Okay.
I won't play it because I can't afford it. The village is one of the most useful early game cards you can have. It's a very simple card, gives you +1 card to your hand, and then gives you an additional 2 actions. Which, if you're looking to chain action cards, the village is your friend.
Yeah. If you've been buying village, it's not uncommon to end your turn with actions unspent because you've played a couple of villages and got the extra cards but had nothing to play.
Yeah. And finally, the workshop, which is a simple meat and potatoes card. You can gain a card costing up to 4 coins. Early game.
Gain basically means take
useful.
it from the stack and put it into your discard as yours.
Yeah.
So it's a way of getting an additional card on top of, or before even, the one that you then buy with whatever treasures you've got.
So it's actually my turn. So I've only got 2 cards to buy, to pay for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the moat, partly for its defensive use and partly because I like that extra 2 card draw.
Yeah, moats are a very good idea when there are attacks on the table, especially if the witch is on the table. This set layout doesn't have the witch, and thus we're not using the curse cards. But there are a couple of cards, witch in the base set and a couple of others in later expansions, which can give you curses. Each curse is a -1 victory point card. So obviously, 3 curses and you lose the 3 points that you start with for your estates. Not a good situation to be in.
No.
So I will auto-play my 3 treasures, knowing that I have 3 treasures and that at the moment I bought an action on my first turn. You need to be buying coins early in the game. You need to be buying treasures, because if you have more actions than treasures, then you can be chaining actions all day and never buy a damn thing. So I really need to buy a silver with this, and that's my turnover.
Right. This turn, however, I've ended up with 5 coppers. Yay, thank God.
The advantage of having a really bad first hand is that the second hand is always going to be good.
So, I think what I am going to do is I am going to invest in a mine. So I'll auto-play my treasures and then blow for
There's a nice piece of forward thinking there with the mine. Obviously, the sooner you can start getting your coppers upgraded to silvers, the more efficient your deck is going to be, the better it's going to work. Because what you want is not just to get the higher value treasure cards, but to replace the lower value ones with them. So that makes mine a really useful card if you can pick it up early in the game.
Go for it.
I don't have an action. I do, however, have 5 points worth of treasures, because I've got my silver and some coppers for good measure. So I'm going to buy a mine.
Yeah, it's going to become an arms race, isn't it?
It is going to become
because
of a mining arms race.
Yes. Ouch. Now, because the mine was the only card I bought, surprise, surprise, it's come through.
Yeah, this is the thing. If you can buy it early, you've got a really good chance of finding it in those early hands. Whereas later on, when you've got 30 or 40 cards in your deck and only one mine, you can go for a long time and either never get it at all because it goes through when it's cards are being discarded for some reason, or you just get unlucky and find it at the wrong times.
So, as a result of the fact that the card comes straight into your hand, not into your discard pile when you upgrade a coin, I now have 5 points to play with, and I'm going to grab myself a market.
Okay, I still don't have my mine, but I've got 4 coins to play with. So my choice now is, do I buy a silver, because I still need more treasures, really? Or do I spend those 4 points on something else? I'm considering remodeling my coppers into things like moats and cellars. So I think I'm going to pick up a remodel now, so that I'm ready to do that.
Ooh, okay, that's painful. I've got 2 points, so I'm going to have myself a cellar.
Okay, finally I have got some actions, but the problem is I've picked up 2 actions at the same time, and I can only play one of them because neither of them gives me an extra action. So, under the circumstances, I'm going to play my smithy, get 3 extra cards in the hope of getting some decent treasure, which I failed to do. So that's given me 3 coppers to play with. 3 coppers is going to buy me that all-important silver.
Yeah. Right. This is where the fun comes in with actions. So, I'm not overly impressed with that estate card. I'm not wildly impressed with that copper. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the cellar, and I'm going to discard the estate. So I have an additional action. So that got me an extra copper, so that's a good start.
Always good.
However, it also left me with 1 action, so I will play that moat, which annoyingly, instead of getting me extra treasure, got me 1 copper and the market.
This is what I was saying about actions going through when you can't spend them. Quite often it's going to be the last action you play draws cards, or the only action you play draws cards, and you draw action cards, which are useless to you. It's annoying when that happens, but such is life. This is what we want, though. This is a mine, which I can play and improve a trash, a copper, to gain a silver.
Yep.
Interestingly, it does not do that automatically. Theoretically, you could trash it and gain a copper instead if you really wanted to, which seems a bit of a strange thing. Why they don't put it automatically, I don't know. But I suppose sometimes people might want to do something weird with it.
Right.
So, I've got 5 to spend.
Do I see
Still
a duchy
really
into
need
view?
better coins, better treasure. But I can't afford a gold because they cost 6. I could buy a duchy, but I don't want to really clog up my hand with victory cards at the moment.
Another mine?
So another mine is a possibility, but because they are very useful, I'm going to follow your lead and I'm going to take a market.
Ah. Okay. So this just got interesting. Right. Obvious thing, I will play a mine. And I will trash that copper to get me a silver, which gets me 4 points to play with. So I will blow the last point of treasure and I will get myself another silver.
Okay, once again I have 2 actions and can only use one of them. I need to start picking up villages. So under the circumstances, I'm going to go with the mine. It's the more useful. And I am going to trash a copper or a silver. Interestingly, that time it didn't make me choose. It just gave me a silver. Hang on. No, did it give me a silver?
I don't know. I wasn't
No,
looking.
I already have a silver. I'm not sure.
You may have already had a silver. I had to select a silver manually.
Okay, and I've now got 4 to play with, which is, I could buy myself another silver, but I'm not doing too badly on that front, I think, at the moment. So instead, I'm going to up the ante a little bit, and I'm going to go with a militia. Start getting aggressive.
Hang on, Oro, did you walk over the Yota Arena, or am I just completely hopped up on cold caps?
Well, that's what he's written there, very much, is that he walked over the Ocho Arena.
Okay.
Just realised I haven't popped out your chat. I really should.
That's
so
alright, everyone's in yours.
See anyone who pops up in yours.
So this is where I have to be a bit canny with my actions. Technically, I've only got 2 copper, which is pretty poxy. So my first card is going to be a mine, which will get me a market. Sorry, a village even, which will get me a market. So that gave me a card, and I have 2 actions left to play with. So my next one pretty much can be anything, because I'll still have an action left. So let's play the mine, trash one of those coppers, swap them to a silver. Now up to 3 points of treasure. We like this game.
Mine and market, by the way, are a good combination because if you can't afford anything else, you can use that extra buy to get a free copper, which you can later upgrade to silver and then gold through a mine.
Right, so because I'm down to my final action, I need to play the market, which gets me +1 card, an extra action, so I've still got 1 free, and an extra coin and an extra buy. Now, the buy may or may not be relevant, but I have now got 2 silvers. Sorry, no, I haven't. I've got an estate instead. That's useless. Don't like you. Go away. So, for my final action, I will play my moat, get 2 cards. Okay. Got me an extra copper and a silver. So, auto-playing my treasures.
At the first province by any chance, or no? It didn't go that way.
7. Annoyingly, 7. However, what I'm going to do
is the most annoying position in the game because a province costs 8, and it's all about getting the province.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 6 on gold, and then I'm going to use my second buy to get the free copper.
When you're not explaining what you're doing the way we are, by the way, this game plays really quickly. The box reckons 30 minutes to a game, and I reckon that is a bit optimistic, but I have seen games play in considerably less than that. It's just that
Yeah.
we tend to spend a lot of time. People I play with traditionally have always tended to spend a lot of time jeering at each other and rubbing people's faces in it, which extends the amount of
Yes.
time taken for any given turn. No actions,
Yeah.
so we'll go straight for having 4 points to spend, and we are going to overspend somewhat and buy a silver with it.
Cool. Right, let's see if I can do anything useful with that cellar. Let's take a chance and discard that copper and that estate. Oh, okay. Which actually just got me a copper and an estate. I'm feeling picked on now. So I have 5 points. I think it's time for me to move into...
You're going to start buying duchies.
I'm going to buy a duchy.
Okay, so I now know that Drut should be on 5 victory points because she started on 3. She had 3 estates. She got rid of one of them, if I remember. No, you discarded it. You didn't trash it, did you?
I didn't trash it, no.
No, so that puts you on 6 then because the duchies were
Yeah.
3. If you don't turn it off, the online version of this by default shows you the victory point totals, which I think takes an element of entertainment out of the game. When you're playing with real cards and a real table, you've got to remember what people have bought
Yeah.
and what victory points they're on. Having the game show you, I think, just makes it far too easy.
Yeah.
So we don't like that.
Nope.
Right, so playing a market, which gets me a remodel, which I can play.
Yep.
Because the market also gave me +1 action. And I think under the circumstances, I'm going to remodel a copper, which will let me gain something costing up to 2 points. And it is going to get me a moat.
Nah.
I will then auto play my remaining treasures, giving me a total of 4 to spend. And I'm going to spend them on decisions. Let's go with a smithy. All about the extra cards. I really should.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I've got an extra.
Do you have a buy?
Yeah, I've got an extra buy, so I'm actually going to take the 4 copper because I have been converting them into other things, so I can afford to get another copper. You don't want your deck clogging up with coppers because they're the low-value treasures. But if you've been getting rid of them, you can afford to pick up an extra one here and there.
Cool. I do apologise, by the way, for the plague coming down the microphone at people. I blame Fishy.
Fortunately, it's not a
Right.
computer virus, so you should be safe.
Okay, so let's start with a market. Right, it's okay. Fair enough. I think I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to use the cellar. And I'm going to discard both those coppers. Damn. Could have been more useful. Got me an extra silver. I can cope with that. So, the last play...
Greetings, Maynard Miyazaki. I'm sorry that we're in the wrong part of the world. We will, of course, immediately move to somewhere closer to your time zone so that we're streaming it at something more appropriate for you. Just as soon as you send us the money.
7. Again. 7. Yes, bastard.
I'm not getting
Gold.
the 7s. You're doing better than me on that front.
Gold
I
and
haven't got any
copper. Ooh. Anyone on my stream can see my hand. Ooh.
Yes, I don't have your stream up because that would be eating.
That's why I haven't got yours up, to be fair.
Yeah. So,
Have
gonna
you
play
noticed,
this
by the way,
smithy for the
the
extra
bit-
cards, and they're all actions because RNGesus hates me. We know this to be true. So I'll play my lousy 4 points worth of treasures, and I am going to buy that village that I so sorely need. I haven't bought enough coins. I need to buy more coins, but I want a village first.
I'm inclined to say that's your problem, mate. Okay, well, there's an obvious thing for me to do. I will play my mine. I will trash that copper and turn it into a silver,
So,
which gives me 5
As a-
points to play with.
as I've mentioned in Discord, but I don't think I have yet actually on this stream, what we're playing at the moment is the free online version of Dominion, which gets you access to the base set. You can either spend 35 odd quid buying the cards, or you can just play it for free online. there's a subscription service that gets you access to other expansions in addition to that. But what we're playing now, is free to play. You just sign up for an account with them, and there you go. You've got it. So if anybody likes the look of the game, why we're explaining quite so much what we're doing is so that people can learn how the game plays, because it is one of the most successful card games to be released in the last 10 years. It came out in 2008, won every award going. Second edition of it came out last year, and it's still going strong. It's an awesome game.
I've
done that annoying 7-coin thing.
I mean, can't say that's your problem, mate. Not mine. However, I have got a village, so we will do that. Oh, thanks. Needed an extra estate. Bitch. So
what this
I've
doesn't
got
do,
two
annoyingly,
actions.
is it doesn't do private tables.
No.
So you either need to make sure that the opponent you want to play against, if it's something like me and Drup want to play against each other, is there waiting to leap on the moment that you create your table.
Yeah.
Or in this case, because I was setting up the card set rather than using a random one, I was actually just posting, preparation for a stream game, please do not join, every time somebody came in and joined. And to be fair, everybody did go away when I did that. One person even acknowledged it in the chat. Right, I've now got loads of options, none of which for actions, none of which give me another action. My best bet is going to be mean to Drup, though. I'm going to play the militia. Although Smithy for 3 cards seems at first glance like a better option, the militia is worth +2 coins in addition to the attack. That'll give me enough to buy a silver, because I've got 1 copper in my hand.
I hate you so
and
much.
will cause Drup to discard 2 cards, unless she has a moat in her hand.
Well, no, the one bloody time I don't have a moat in hand is when you militia me.
So, in this instance, the militia was the way to go. Hit Drup and get a silver. Always going to be good.
Thank you so much for that. I will remember this.
I know.
Well, depends if I remember it through the signer tab. Okay.
Yeah, so medicated Drat might be easier to beat.
Yes. Yes. So I will ditch off a copper, and I will ditch an estate.
Yeah, that's when you get to just laugh uproariously in the face of your opponent, is when they play militia and you have 2 estates in your hand anyway, and you just get rid of them.
Waiting for him, Fishy.
Hey, I've got no idea who's trying to call me, but they're trying to call me in the middle of a stream, so whoever they are, they can go away. Right, autoplay treasures gives me 3 and lets me buy that silver as mentioned earlier.
Right, reason I was not quite as devastated as I could be. I still have a copper in my hand and I have a mine. So I will trash that copper. Oh, trash that copper. Which gives me 4 points to play with. I kind of don't want that. I kind of like merchant. Let's go with merchant. Yeah, we'll have merchant. And I'll blow that last point to treasure.
As I said, merchant is new. We're not familiar with merchant, so it'd be interesting to see how that. It looks to be quite a good card, though. No actions,
I've got all the different cards.
I'm just going straight for 4 points to spend, and I'm going to spend them on another silver. I think I'm still low on coins, to be honest. I need to get my money-making machine working better than it is.
Okay, well, I'm going to play a market. So for the extra coin and action, less fussed about the buy. But the extra card would be nice. And the card is very nice when I get one of them. Yay. Hello, extra gold.
One of them.
Yes, I got an extra gold out of that. I will live. Right, so then I have 1 action remaining, so I will see if I can get any more treasure out of that moat. I can indeed.
I'm assuming, Baru, that is a reference that I'm supposed to know, but I'm far too old for such things. I'm going to say, yeah, fine, fair enough, whatever the hell that is.
Okay. I may be too wasted to understand what that means.
To me, a doodle is just a scribble on a piece of paper, but...
Right. Now you see.
More 13? Jesus.
This is where my money-making
She's kicking my ass.
My money. Oh yeah, but in person games you kick me into touch. Bear this in mind. And in person games, our friend Haley kicks everybody into touch.
Oh, Haley always beats me. I regret ever teaching her this game.
Okay, so this is where the multiple buys
So
suddenly comes
now
into
you
its
get a
own.
province and something.
Pardon me. As I said, plague. So I will have the province. Thank you very much. Yeah.
As a point of interest, this being a 2-player game, there are 8 provinces. There are 8 of each kingdom card, in theory, except 8 of each treasure card, not the other kingdom cards. Not treasure, victory cards. Right, let's go back and start that again, actually correctly.
Yes.
This being a 2-player game, there are 8 of each victory card on the table, and 10 of any of the other kingdom cards, and shitloads of the treasure cards. In a 3 or 4-player game, there are 12 of the kingdom cards. So the game lasts that bit longer. Not the kingdom cards, the victory cards. Apparently, I'm completely incompetent today.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
no
need for you to say what do you mean today. I'm aware. So yeah, there are more victory cards in a 3 or 4-player game, so the game lasts longer. Because otherwise, with 3 or 4 players, they just get snapped up far too quickly, and the game ends in no time flat. Right, I have an option at this stage. I can smithy, moat, or remodel, and I think I'm going to smithy.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, it's just a really bad cold, but I had to take a day off work today, and I never do that.
So, auto-playing my treasures is going to give me 7 and really, really frustrate me. And that's going to be buying another gold.
Yes, what's really driving me up the wall is the fact that I started the voiceover Kickstart course this week. And that's this lesson will come down every day, and you must do this on the day, and you cannot go back to old lessons, and it's all terribly awkward. And my voice is on this way out.
Anybody who's getting the hang of this game and picking up what the cards are can look at my hand now and just laugh at my appalling bad luck.
Yeah. Okay, me on the other hand, I will play the market. Oh, we like that. Thank you very much. And
Actually,
here's where chaining
not bad,
happens.
is it? I can work that. Just
I
realise
will
what
play
I've got.
the market
I can work
I've just drawn. We definitely like this game. Right, those 2 cards are not doing anything for me. So anything I draw literally will be better. So, seller. And I will discard both those duchies.
Yeah, you see, you're in a position to say both those duchies. I still haven't actually bought victory cards.
And then just to really rub it in, I have 1 action remaining. 3 buys. That's probably not going to be relevant. And a mine I have just drawn.
It depends on whether you want coppers to work with those mines.
I will trash a silver and gain a gold, which gives me 9 points, which will give me a province. And 2 coppers.
So 2 provinces have been bought in this game so far, both by Drat. This does not bode well for me.
It doesn't.
Right, now, this is a hand where the order in which I play these cards is important. So I'm going to start with the market, because that gets me a card, also gets me another action. Next is going to be the village, because that also gets me a card and gets me another 2 actions. So I've still got 2 actions. Now, I've still got more action cards than I've got actions to play them with, but nevertheless, we're getting somewhere. We'll go with the mine next. Trash that copper. Gain a silver. Then for my last action, I think for my last action, I'm going to try and smack Drat again. I'm going to militia.
Oh, thank you. Well, in that case, I am going to moat you.
Right, so it didn't work, but nevertheless, I've still got enough to be able to buy a gold. Couldn't quite make it up to the province, but I probably wasn't going to if I'd played the smithy anyway. So we'll just take the gold. And because of the market, we'll take an extra copper that we can use with our mine.
Right. My cards this turn are fairly bland, so let's go with that moat that just saved my backside. Although, frankly, if I'd been in that much trouble, I would have discarded the duchy and the copper. So, the moat, which has got me a province, woo, and a silver. Which means I have 8 points of treasure, which is a province.
Third province.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 5 left in the game. It's getting to the point where it's actually going to be really difficult for me. It's getting to the point where it's going to be impossible for me to catch up, because I still haven't got one. I'm just not finding the coinage that I need.
You may have to start buying duchies.
Well, duchies are never going to beat provinces. They're worth half as many victory points.
Right. Let's start with a village. Oh, big whoop. That got me an extra estate. I shall try not to faint. And the merchant, which got me a copper and an estate. Sorry, no, got me another estate. Woo. Right. That playing that silver because of the merchant got me an extra point.
Yeah.
So I've got 5 points to spend. I could go with a duchy, but I think my hand's starting to get a little bit crowded. So what
this is my only hope
do,
at this point, is that she's doing so well buying victory cards that her deck begins to lock up.
I'm going to invest in another market.
Whereas mine should be a pretty good coin producing machine at this point, because I've been buying coins a lot. It isn't, it's not working, but it should be on paper. So, well, village followed by smithy. The village smithy is a good combination that happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's just an automatic, oh yeah, village smithy. And we're going to follow it up with a mine. Trash that copper. Get an extra silver.
That copper.
Which brings us up to 8, and we get our first province finally, and feel a
Oh,
little
good, he'll
bit
stop
better.
moaning.
No, he won't.
Right, let's play that market. I know that's handy. Let's take a risk and use the seller to destroy those 2 estates and that copper. Well, not destroy, discard. That was worth it. That's got me a moat and another copper. Oh, another 2 coppers, in fact. So, unfortunately, that got me 2 action cards, which I can't use because I have no actions left. C'est la vie.
It has cards, Mechiadol. It's not just dice. It's anything with random generation. All hates me.
Fish, I'm wasted. What? You're not going to claim that I'm doing anything to you?
No, it's not you. RNG hates me. It's not you.
Yep. Okay, that's 6 points. Well, to me, that smells gold.
To be honest, I always do badly in my first game of Dominion. Doesn't matter whether it's my first game since the day before or my first game since 6 months ago. My first game's always really crap, and then I remember how to play. I don't know why, it just always seems to work that way.
It'll go.
Right, market followed by militia seems like an obvious combination. Waiting for Druttercup to either wave a moat at me or discard some stuff.
I will discard these 2 provinces.
Okie dokie, then we will auto play our treasures and buy a province. Suddenly starting to come together.
Oh, good. Does this mean you're going to stop whinging at me?
No.
Great. This is one thing that slightly annoys me about the Buggered Up Voice, is I feel like I'm wasting my new mic. You've got a buy left.
Oh, crap, yeah, completely forgot that. Oh, well, I'll have a copper then, since I've still got those mines floating around. Might need another mine,
so
though, to up the
all I
chance
can
of
do
finding
is
it with a
auto-play
copper.
my treasures. So I've got 4, which is going to get me a smithy.
Okay, do I want to remodel a copper into something more useful? No, I want to draw 3 more cards and hope that they're good, which they are.
Oh, I hate you so much.
11. I only get the 1 buy, unfortunately. I didn't have anything for an extra buy, but that still gives me
At
that
least
province.
when I had 13, I had the good grace to have 2 buys.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Okay, let's go with the market and see what that gets me. That gets me a gold. Thank you very much. So 1 action left, no action cards.
I know that she's bought at least one. Oh, fucking hell! Looking at that, she's actually bought 3 duchies. So if I don't buy any at this point, if I don't buy any duchies, I'm still going to lose because we're pretty even on provinces, and she's got duchies. So I need to be looking at buying duchies.
And I've got 10 to play with.
So she's going to get
and 2
the
buys.
penultimate province.
So I will have the penultimate province, and I will also have a moat.
Now, this is a problem. If I buy that province and end the game, I lose.
Yeah.
So I now cannot afford to buy the province, but at the same time, I can't rely on Drut not getting it because her deck is doing what it's meant to do, and it's getting her stuff. So all I can do at the moment is sit here cursing the fact that I've got 10 coins and can't buy the province.
Yeah. You can buy a duchy.
So I'm going to have to buy a duchy and waste the other 5, and then watch you pick up the last province.
Okay, let's get a village going. Which isn't going to do me a
My deck just came together too late to be able to catch up on the lead that she'd got. Really.
That only gives me 6. So
my only hope is that her deck, as I said earlier, is that her deck locks itself up because she has too many victory cards in it.
You'll go.
Right, so we'll smack her with the militia first and see what that does.
It loses me 2 duchies.
Yeah, see? But that's what I'm saying about the hand locking up with victory cards. She had 2 out of her 5 cards were victory cards that she couldn't use. So it is beginning. She is beginning to suffer for that, and it's slowing her down. And I, meanwhile, can buy another duchy this turn. So it's getting much closer. I think at this stage, it may well come down to who buys that last province.
Which won't be me. I'm on 7. Oh no, I'm not. I'm on 8.
So it's going to be Lindo that wins the game.
It's going to be me.
Yeah, I made a good comeback, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody hell, it wasn't anywhere near enough. 42 to 27. She actually utterly kicked my ass. I hadn't realised you'd actually got 5 out of the 8 provinces.
In my defence, neither did I.
Yeah. Yeah, you got almost every province in the game. Jesus. So that was a massacre.
Yes. Yes, it was.
I do like little things like the fact that it tells you what you had in your deck at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I had a lot more silver than Drut.
You did.
Only 1 less gold. And yet, even though coinage-wise, I actually had more treasure cards, more coin value of treasure cards, I just wasn't finding what I needed to buy the things.
I had 3 markets. I think
the 3 markets I think made a big difference to you. I should have bought more markets.
So, how are we going to play the next game?
Well, there we go. Yeah, we have a choice now. We can either click ready and play the same game again. We can edit the table.
Yes, you can.
Which would let us play the same game again, or just get rid of the set cards and choose a random selection, but without giving anyone else the chance to come in. Or indeed, if somebody else wanted to jump in and play, would let us add an extra player to the table and play the same game again that way.
Yep.
But barring any indication that anybody wants to come in, I'm going to suggest that we edit the table to get rid of the selected kingdom cards.
Okay.
And play with a completely random set of cards.
Okay, fair enough. Random number generator may actually be to your advantage.
So there we go. We will clear this. So this is where you pick cards if you are choosing them. You can flick through and look at the different expansions and put the cards in. You'll notice that most of these are empty because I haven't paid them any money to get access to any of these expansions. So the base cards are the only ones available to me if I do want to pick. Some of these are new. Sentry, I don't know Sentry. That was brought in 2nd edition. +1 card, +1 action. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Trash and or discard any number of them. Put the rest back on top in any order. That's kind of funky for a 5-point
That's one if you've got the Witch in play.
Yeah.
Which,
as mentioned, gives you the curses. Oops, I didn't mean to add the vassal. I meant to look at the vassal. +2 coins. Discard the top card of your deck. If it's an action card, you may play it. That's interesting. Anyway, we're going to go with a random selection. So we will now just say ready,
Okay.
And when Drat says ready, in we go to the game. This time, not knowing what we're going to have. What have we got?
It's my
We've
go.
got remodel. We've got throne room.
Oh, I love
Throne
throne room.
is brilliant.
Oh God, we've got
you play an
council
action
room.
card from your hand twice with throne room. So you play
Yeah.
throne room and something like, say, throne room and militia. Now, throne room and militia is a bad combination because militia specifically says discard down to 3, so the second discard won't hit them. But you'll still get the plus
we've
2
got
coins
gardens.
twice.
We have gardens.
Gardens completely changes the nature of the game. Because
But
gardens
we've got nothing that gives us extra buys, however.
are an extra victory card worth
Oh, yes, we
1
do.
victory point for every 10 cards in your deck. So rather than going for a lean deck with maximum possible point score, in Gardens games quite often people are just going for the biggest deck that they can get and going for lots of things that give them extra buys and picking up as many coppers as 3 coppers as they possibly can to get those gardens pumped up in value.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, it's my go.
Harbinger is another new one. +1 card, +1 action. Look through your discard pile. You may put a card from it onto your deck. That's funky.
We like
Recycling a
that.
card from your discard to the top of your deck where you know you're going to draw it at the end of the turn is potentially really useful.
Right.
Library is
I
an
am
interesting one. Draw till you have 7 cards in your hand, skipping any action cards if you choose to. And then discarding those that you skip afterwards. So you can pick the action cards if you want them.
I'm going to start with a village.
Okay, village, nice and simple. I will
Yeah.
auto play my 4 treasures. And I am going to start with... I think I'm going to start with a militia because it gets me coins as if it was a village. Sorry, as if it was a silver, but also lets me smack Drat. So that's got to be worth doing
You
given how
apparently
badly she
have
kicked
this
my
thing
arse.
about smacking Drat. I thought you'd already bought your ticket, Baru. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that.
Also play my treasures. Let's leap in. I'm going to have a garden.
Oh dear.
Oh, whoops. So you're going to go for one of the single days. Oh God, that was a bit
Silver,
quick.
by the way, yeah.
All right, okay. I can see shit, can you? Oh, big whoopee deal. Right, let's have a silver. You'll go fishy. Is it a 3-day con, Barry? Am I thinking?
I'm just going to shove that into chat in case anybody pops in as a spectator and wants to see the actual stream.
Ah. Which is
We
neatly
were-
hidden behind my midweek multiplayer logo.
Yep, probably. And we're going to go with a silver because we need the coins early in the game.
Yes. Yeah, ditto. You'll go.
Okay, so smack Drat with a militia. Always worth doing. We like militia.
Oh, you bitch. I hate you so much.
Yes, indeed.
Which, unfortunately, knackers what I was planning on doing.
Just call me the militia bitch. That'll do nicely.
You
And
are
I've
the militia bitch.
Still got 7 points left. You see what I mean about remembering how to play on my second game when I come back to
Yeah.
this? So we'll get the gold already.
This sinus caps appears to have worked for like an hour. I think that's out of order.
That's about what I expect them to work for, usually, things like that. Yeah. I hated having
well,
to work
instead
through
of
2 days'
having
worth of a cold.
5, I've only got 4. So bollocks, I'm going to have a throne room.
Ah, Throne Room. We like Throne Room. Throne Room is such a
I
good
like
card.
throne room.
So, given that it is such a good card, I think I'll buy one.
Yeah. Start with a village, see what happens. Gives me an extra copper.
At least you can get them separately, Baru, so that could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it costs more than buying the weekend thing, obviously, but at least you can get there.
+1 card, +1 action. Let's go with a harbinger.
Okay. So, back to the militia.
Ha! This time
Got it.
I'm ditching 2 estates.
Got to maintain my position as militia bitch, of course. Not play it. And in fact, with those 5 points, I'm going to buy a second one.
I hate you so much.
Just one of the things that is quite important in Dominion is to basically pick a tactic early in the game and play to that tactic. If you move around too much and you pick lots of different types of cards over the course of the game, like I did in the last one, really, your deck just never comes together and does what it's supposed to be doing quick enough. So what you have to do is pick a tactic that you're going to use and use it.
You'll go.
So, back to the militia, because at this stage I've only got very few cards in my deck, so
okay, I'm annoyed, but not as annoyed as I could be.
And I've got 9, which gets me that first province.
Bitch. Right, I am going to play Throne Room.
When I talk about this game as if I'm knowledgeable, by the way, this does not mean that I'm good at this game. It just means I've played a lot of it. There's a big difference.
Right. So, this is my discard pile. So, I can put 2 cards from there on the top of my deck. So, obviously that one. And for the lack of something else to do, that one. Because I'm playing the Harbinger effectively twice. And now I may play cards. So, instead of having nothing after being militiaed by some idiot git, I actually have 3 points to spend, which is going to get me a silver.
Okay, I'm down to just treasures this time, so I'm going to buy myself a silver to keep my treasure rate up.
Right, let's play a village and see what happens. Not a lot. However, I've got 5 points. I'm going to have a festival. Which gives +2 actions, +1 buy, and 2 coins. Which I would have done 3 turns ago had the sod not kept militiaing me.
Right, now I'm going to use that combination that is not as good as it would be with another card, but still works nicely. I'm going to Throne Room a militia.
Whoa.
So that is going to give me
pointless.
+4 coins.
It
should give me +4 coins. It's not showing +4 coins. It's showing 2. It should be showing discarding. 4. That's if you have it hasn't got to the second. It plays it
individually.
It hasn't got to the second militia yet. That's why. So that's given me 4 coins before I play my treasures. So it was worth doing. Because straight away it brought me up to 7, and I can buy a gold. But the discard, rather than saying discard 2, it says discard down to 3, which is a deliberate choice to maintain game balance and stop multiple players playing militia. If you're in a 4-player game and 2 players play militia and they were each discard 2, player 4 is screwed. So it doesn't. So it's not phrased that way.
No, they get it in the shorts. It's the little things like that that make you realise just how well designed Dominion is. Yeah,
the article in the Kobold Guide to Board Game Design from one of the developers actually does go into stuff like that, and the fact that in the initial playtests, provinces were being ignored because there was a win mechanism using duchies that pretty much you went for duchies and you won every time. So they had to downgrade the way duchies. I think they downgraded the score or up the cost or something, but they had to rebalance duchies to make provinces worth doing again. It's a really interesting read. The whole book, if you're into board games, is a really interesting book, in fact.
I am going to Throne Room a festival.
Throne Room Festival. +4 actions, +2 buys, +4 coins. That's well worth doing.
Yeah. Now, this is done because I had nothing of any interest in my hand. Didn't get me any extra cards.
But you've got 4 coins, so you can buy shit.
I've got a total of 5 now.
Yeah.
Which I am going to use to pick up a council room. And I've got 2 buys.
Now I've got to remember what the council room actually does. Let me just have a quick look. +4 cards, +1 buy. Each other player draws a card. That's what council room does. Yeah, that is a good one.
It's nice.
I'm just going to militia you because that's who I am. It's what I do.
I'm going to ditch off 2 victory cards. I can deal
Could
with that.
really do with something that gives me extra buys. But I'm not going to take one this turn, because it would be foolish not to take the province when I can.
Yeah, good point. I mean, you're going to win this easily.
This
So,
one's
let's start
looking
with the
like
Harbinger.
it's swung back the other way, yeah, having lost the last game as an easy massacre.
What do I want to put on there? I want to put that there. And I will then also play my treasures, which gives me 4 points to play with, which will get me another garden. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you've got the cash now, do the ordering.
I'm
Plus,
obviously
with the
going
way
to
the
militia
pound's
you.
going.
There's a Y in the day, so I'm playing militia.
No bloody moats this game.
No, the lack of the randomization can be really nasty to you sometimes. The lack of moats when there are something like militia or worse, the witch on the table.
Yeah.
If there's no defences against the witch and it's on the table, it basically means everybody has to buy witches. Because if you're the one player who doesn't buy witches, then you end up with minus 10 points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, don't like that game. We want to play something different now. Yeah, so I've got 5 points to play with, and I need those extra buys. So I've got to remember which of these gives me an extra buy. Festival, I believe, does.
It does.
It does indeed. So I'm going to buy a festival.
Okay. Well, I am going to hope I get something, because I'm going to go for a village, which got me a silver. Okay. And now I'm going to play a council room. That could have gone worse. Could have gone better. But that's got me 2 buys and 6 points, which is going to get me a gold and copper.
Okay, so I am currently devoid of actions. I need to rebalance my deck somewhat because it's been, if anything, going slightly too well. So these 5 points that I have just picked up, I think are going to buy me another festival. Because the festival is a useful card. 2 actions, an extra buy plus 2 coins. I mean, you can't really go far wrong with that.
No. You'll go. I just had the world's most boring turn. 4 coppers.
So this is really annoying. I've got a throne room in my hand, but I don't have any other actions, and I've got nothing that will draw cards. So I'm just going to end my actions and not play the throne room. Auto play the treasures for 6 and take a gold.
That makes sense. Right. I've got the festival. I've got nothing to let me draw extra cards. However, I will auto play my 6, and I will buy a duchy and a copper.
Right, so this time I'm playing a festival. The actions are irrelevant because I don't have any more actions, but it gets me 2 coins and a buy. So having auto played, I've got 5 to play with. And I think what I am going to do is I'm going to buy a village and a cellar.
Oh, okay.
Slightly,
getting a bit canny on me now, are you?
Yeah, extending out what I can do very slightly. The deck is getting less focused, but at the same time, the village lets me play multiple actions, and the cellar lets me discard looking for the cards that I want to get what the deck is supposed to do.
Okay,
so
treasure-wise,
it'll work out.
Treasure-wise, I'm kind of shafted. So, I am going to throne room a harbinger.
Ooh.
Yes, but I have no discard pile, which is slightly annoying. Thus, the harbinger loses half of its
It's not as useful as it would
point.
have been, yeah.
No. However, instead of having nothing, I've got 3 coins.
But do you have no discard pile? I take it you must have had exactly two cards left in your deck.
So yes, it hasn't reshuffled, which is extremely annoying.
No, you must have. Yeah, I just got that completely wrong. You didn't have to have 2 cards left in your deck, did you? I'm just an idiot.
So I will have a silver.
What does it mean to be shafted? Okay, Mekido.
Oh dear. Yeah, good. You have fun there.
Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to go not safe for work. I think the word shafted is commonly used in colloquial English in the same way as the word fucked is used. In pretty much all of its meanings.
Yes.
So we will play a militia. When a lift and a building love each other very, very much.
Very much, yes. Oh, you're militiaing me again, you bitch.
I'm militiaing you again.
I'll just have to discard my victory cards.
Yeah, that's about all I can do this turn, really, though.
Yeah.
I've got 4 left over. Big is my deck. Deck is not huge, is it? Is it worth buying gardens?
Yeah, it is mechie. Yeah.
I think I'm going to buy a garden just because it's... You never know. I might have enough. We might have a big enough deck at the end of this to make the gardens worthwhile.
Possibly.
Gardens tend to be either you buy gardens and push everything into having a really big deck, or you ignore the gardens.
Yeah.
Very rarely are they used except where you don't have the option to buy anything else otherwise.
Your go, Fishy.
Yes, my go indeed. So we will festival.
Your festival, will you?
Autoplay for a total of
God.
8 and pick up a province.
You are so
when you
winning this.
pick up a province.
I'm going to do what I should have done ages ago. I think you've got another buy left.
Yeah, I just picked up a copper for the hell of it.
Right, all I can do is that, but I'm going to get the cellar. So back at you.
Alright, back to the festival, apparently.
Yeah.
But this time I've only got 7, so we'll buy a gold.
Oh, a mere. And another buy.
Oh, and another buy. I'm not going to pick anything up with my other buy.
Yeah. Okay. Very meat and potatoes game. So I've got 6 points.
It's demonstrating quite nicely that you can get a nice lean deck early in the game that works really well, hence my picking up a province really early. But then ceases to be lean and ceases to work as well quite quickly. So that I've slowed down quite a lot compared to what I was doing at the beginning of the game, because I need to get my deck rebalanced, and I haven't done that.
Your go.
Right, well, I'm obviously going to play the village first so that I can get the 2 actions and use one of them to play the militia.
Uh-huh. Oh, you have no idea how much I hate you right now.
I've got some vague idea, I think.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Oh. Oh. It's got to be that, and it's got to be that.
Did I set up the multi on my bot? I don't think I did. By coincidence, it was set up correctly from the last time we did multi-stream together.
Yay. In which case, I'm just going to hijack yours, actually.
Well, I'm just going to copy-paste it. Fair enough.
Yep. I'm waiting for you.
Okay, yeah, sorry, we're back to me. So now I will auto-play my treasures, which leaves me with 5, and I'm going to buy a duchy because I want those victory points.
Right. I'm going to start with the festival, which gives me 2 additional actions. And then I'm going to council room for 4 cards. Hopefully that will let me play something. Such as a Harbinger, which I've got nothing in my fucking discard pile again.
Presumably the festival includes almost everything that you get from the village, because a good festival is the size of a village.
Yes.
One of the complaints that fans of other later deck building games have levied at or leveled
Thank you, God, I get
Dominion
a province.
Is that the cards are a little bit random, in as much as what the card, the title and content of the card, like village, has nothing to do with what the card actually does in game. I would agree that that is quite often the case, but I would disagree that that is a significant flaw, because it really doesn't matter. They're there to give the game a bit of feel, even though that's separate from the mechanics. It doesn't really matter that that's separate from the mechanics. You've still got that feel. So now, courtesy of that festival, I'm going to buy a province.
Oh, we're down to the last 3.
We are, as you say, down to the last 3.
Yeah.
Which people can't really
Okay.
see on my stream when we're talking, because the Discord widget sits over the top
You
of me.
have bye.
I've got another buy. Yeah, I'm going to end my turn. I don't want another buy.
Okay.
Bye.
So I need to draw until I have 7 cards in hand, skipping any action cards I choose to, set those aside and discard them afterwards.
The library.
Yeah.
The downside to
So
the library is
basically-
that it picks up bloody victory cards.
Yeah. Annoyingly, all it got me was a
Yeah, to be honest, what the cards are called and what artwork is on them makes no difference to the gameplay at all, Mechiador. But it's easier with any game to think about what you're doing and get into the gameplay if it's not completely abstract. And the argument with this is that it is a little bit too abstract because the cards don't really relate. You know, the game mechanics don't really relate to what the cards are supposed to represent.
Yeah. You'll go. What I do like is things like the festival, which is kind of an OTT version of the village.
Yeah, there are sort of sets. You can see where some cards are bigger and better versions of earlier cards, and those tend to be thematically related. The Walled Village promo card, for example, is just a better village. Right, there's no point playing a throne room with no other actions. There's not much point in me auto-playing my 1 treasure either. So that's actually a turn where I did nothing at all. RNGesus has hated
I can cope with that. I can deal with that. Right, the cellar comes into its own. So I will discard those 2 gardens.
To adjust a Genesis song, RNGesus, he hates me and he knows I'm shite.
Oh, God. Okay, that was useless. Okay, let's auto-play treasures and let's have another village. You'll go.
Okay, this time we have more things to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a cellar and we are going to discard a province, which will get us something rather better. Then we will play a militia.
Of course you will.
Because that's just who we are.
Yep.
Auto-play our treasures and buy our province.
Yeah, you've won this so hard.
Oh, it's a hard life, Dark Insanities. Right, I apologise for this, but I was hoping to wait till the end of the game. It's just taking too long. I'm going to have to dash to the loo, because I can't rely on getting the province on my next turn.
I've seen your stairs. Don't dash too fast. Stairs o' death. Right. You may play 1 card. Oh, great. Let's have silver. He's basically won on this next turn, because he's a kid. Ah. So that's a problem, Dark Insanities. If you can buy it, but you can't buy one. And I'm fairly sure you can't do a hire purchase agreement for an Imperial Courier. Mind you, the Courier is not that expensive, is it? I thought the Courier was cheap. Or did you mean cutter? Because if you did mean cutter, I'm just going to cry. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Basically, you could buy it and leave it parked up and polish it. Fair enough. Just do be a bit careful. They're awfully vulnerable when scooping. They're basically giant greenhouses. Everything by Guttmeyer is a greenhouse. So when you're fuel scooping around a star, you will fry. I had the same problem with the Type 6. I couldn't work out why my heat was going up to like a rocket, even when pulling away from the damn thing. Right. Come on.
I have returned.
That would explain why you are here. Welcome back.
Lazarus.
Do it yourself.
Right, okay.
You are a total waste of good oxygen.
It is, yes. Go on, finish the game.
Right, now Lazarus has finished insulting me, I will play a militia at you.
That's fine by me, actually. When was Lazarus insulting me?
No, insulting me.
Oh, no, I can get behind that.
Right, okay, well, this didn't work so well for me. I'm going to buy a silver because currently my deck is locking up.
All I've got is treasure.
I mean, there is
not
only
that
one
much.
province left to buy, so
Yeah.
this is why my deck's locking up. Right,
Feel free
this
to
time
militia me.
I am going to throne room a village, get all the actions in the universe, and a couple of cards. And that leaves me with
Humans.
5, so...
I wonder sometimes why you are here. Then I
I'm gonna buy a
remember
duck
your
chance.
ultimate achievement. Me.
The one time I quite
Thank you,
liked
Lazarus.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Take it he wasn't very nice to you.
Later, Dark Insanities.
Okay, later.
Actually, I'd completely forgotten I'd even given him that to say. He said, humans, I sometimes wonder why you're here. Then I remember your ultimate achievement, me.
Is he parroting Aurak at us?
Somewhat. He does actually reference both Aurak and Zen,
Cool.
but hasn't done this evening.
Oh, someone's winning this game.
And that gives me that last province.
Oh, you bitch. Okay, how much have I lost by?
Let's see how this pans out. Much closer than the first game. 48,
Yes.
41. That was pretty close.
I got...
You had a lot of gardens, didn't you?
I did. I got 20 victory points off my gardens.
Yeah, I got 3 off my one and only garden because I really wasn't going for that strategy.
Yes,
yeah, that
you
was
really
pretty
need
close.
to pick a strategy.
That was a pretty close game.
That was.
I started better than I finished because I had a strategy early on and I slightly dismissed it later.
This is the problem. It doesn't work so well if you change strategies halfway through. I mean, you still won, but you only won by 7 points.
Yeah.